For vinyl collectors across the world, today was sort of our Super Bowl. It's Record Store Day, and I spent it at the Baltimore record store that started it all. If you're not familiar with Record Store Day, twice a year, artists release limited edition or exclusive records that can only be found in participating record stores. And this year, there were a whole bunch of records that I wanted, so I got to Soundgarden just before 6 a.m. to line up. I thought 6 a.m. was early, but apparently the line started around 6 p.m. the night before. The line was all the way down the street. I would guess that around 200 people were in front of me, and by 8 a.m. the line was already wrapped around the block. This isn't my first rodeo, but it was my first time doing Record Store Day at Soundgarden. In the past, I've done smaller record stores or more remote stores since they usually have less crowds, but they also usually have less inventory, so it's definitely a gamble. These were the records I was looking for. The middle-aged man ahead of me asked what I was hoping to get, and I had to look this man in the eye and say cat's eye. Anyways, once the store opened, the line moved fairly quickly. The Soundgarden had a great system. All RSD titles were in this tent, and it was limited to only a few people at a time. All of the 12-inch records I wanted were sold out, and one of the employees told me that they were out of Charlie XCX, but I somehow managed to find one partially hidden under another record. I was actually so excited. That was the one I wanted the most. And then this isn't a Record Store Day release, but the Soundgarden had a bunch of signed Hayley Williams records that they were releasing alongside the RSD titles. I fully assumed that they would be sold out by the time I made it through the line, but they still had some, so I got one of those as well. From start to finish, I think I spent about 4.5 hours waiting, but I got the coolest records and met some really nice people. Here's my final haul. I got Party For You by Charlie XCX, Hung Up On You by Tate McRae, and a signed copy of Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party by Hayley Williams. I had so much fun, and I can't wait for the next Record Store Day.